Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. I am going to do a book review, and I haven't done a book review in a while. I haven't been reading as many books. Oh my gosh, I know this is crazy. I read like 74 books last year. You can check out the blog post, or actually I think I did a video with like 74 book reviews, short book reviews. You can check that out if you're interested. But I'm going to review a book that I don't think I've reviewed before. I forgot to check, but it doesn't matter because I'll review it again. Hey, that's pretty awesome because I read it again. So this is a book that I think has been a book that really has opened up my eyes in a lot of areas, confirmed a lot of things that I sort of discovered on myself, discovered on my own, on myself, both. But it's a book that is a little bit woo-woo out there. I'll give you a little bit of a warning. It's controversial. It's a little bit strange, I would say. But I would suggest giving it a chance. Okay, now the book is called The Power of Now, and it is by Eckhart Tolle. I think it's Tolle, like Toll. I wanted to say Toll, but I think it's Tolle. I don't know. He's kind of a cool cat anyway. So the book is, what is this? Is this book a religion? It almost is a religion, right? If someone had to ask me, what religion are you? I'd say, I'm the Power of Now religion. No, I don't know. I don't know. The point is this, like the book is essentially about this. It's about living in the present moment. It's the power of now, but it's about more than that. It's about sort of realizing that that's all there is, that you can never live in the future, you can never live in the past, and that everything that is trying to do one of those things is destructive to you and doesn't make any sense, is insane anyway. But more importantly, like if I had to pull one, just the most powerful concept in this entire book, this is what I would pull for you. I would say that all pain, all frustration, all the negativity and bad things that you feel and experience in life, all of the bad, comes from one source. And that one source is non-acceptance of reality. Now, you can probably figure out why this book resonates with me so much, because this is what I talk about all the time. All the time, people get upset when I say things, okay, that maybe are not politically correct or, quote, offensive, but I'm just calling it what it is. I want to see reality and accept reality, whether I like it or not, okay? Now, given that you're willing to accept reality, it doesn't mean that you have to go along with it, right? You always have three choices. I've talked about this a couple of times before, but I'll summarize this here. Anytime something happens, you have three choices. And then it's talked about in the book as well, which is one choice is to accept it completely, okay? I just accept this thing. I'm not going to fight it. I'm accepting it. The second choice that you have is to do something about it, okay? You can speak up. You can say something. You can say, that's not cool, man. You can smack someone with a club, I suppose. That's probably not very power of now-ish, but it's an option, right? You can take some kind of action, okay? And then the third option you have is to remove yourself from the situation, relationship, whatever it is, get out of there. You don't have to deal with it. Take yourself out of it, right? That's the three options that you always have, and anything else is insanity. This is what's talked about a lot in this book, and this makes a lot of fucking sense. Whether you agree with the new age, whatever of the power of now, you have to agree that you only have three choices, and that most people are actually insane because they try a different choice than one of those three. They won't take one of those three options, right? And so when you're non-accepting of reality, when you've got a situation and you're not willing to take one of those three choices, that's basically non-acceptance. That's basically saying, oh, reality is this, but I do not like reality. Therefore, I am not going to accept reality, but I'm not going to do anything about it. And I'm not going to remove myself from the situation. I'm just going to bitch, okay? And whether you bitch verbally or you bitch in your mind or your subconscious is bitching, all of that bitching, what it does is it makes your life heavy. It makes you heavy. It makes your life miserable. It causes you pain and torment, and that's where the suffering comes from in life. And so if you can stop doing that, if you can live in the present moment, right? If you can accept things as they are, because it is what it is right now, right? I mean, fuck, I don't want it to rain today because I'm going out. I did a 20-mile run today and it rains. I have a choice at that very moment. I can say, no, not accepting the rain. Don't like it. And I can be angry and I can be upset and bitter and, man, I'm fucking cold, right? Or I can be like, hey, I didn't really want it to rain, but it's raining. So, hey, it's raining. That's what it is. It's fine. This is the new plan. I'm not going to wish for it not to rain because that would be not accepting reality, right? That would be, reality is what it is. So, hey, this is the gift you got. This is what, this is the food you've been given. Eat it. Like, don't wish for something else, okay? And that's the whole thing. So, I think it's a very, very positive message. There's a little bit of woo-woo stuff, maybe not everything that I totally agree with there. There's this concept of the earth rising to a higher level of consciousness. I kind of actually agree with that. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but I believe that, and I've told my story a little bit. I'll say it a little bit more here again, but I feel like there was a point. There was this, for some reason, the universe tapped me on the shoulder one day and was like, John, it's time to wake up. And I know that sounds really weird, but I didn't do it. Like, at some point, it was like, hey, I started to see things a little bit differently. I mean, like I said, if you've seen my story, if you've heard me talk about this, I was very analytical. I mean, I'm a software developer at heart, right? I mean, did this for 15 years, engineering, thinking that way. And so any of this woo-woo shit, I would be like, what? This is bullshit. Like, give me the facts, okay? And somehow I started saying, okay, well, there's a lot of successful people that are, let me, I don't know what happened. I don't know why somehow I feel like I got led down this path. Somehow I ended up on a path that I feel was a path I was destined to be on and that I was led on. And it changed my life. It changed a lot of things in my life. It really made me more effective as a person and made me more fulfilled and happy. And oh my gosh, like all the troubles that I used to have in my life, they're gone. Like, they're gone because not that I don't ever have troubles or ever get stressed out or anything like that. I mean, that happens and I have ups and downs, but it's a different kind of thing, right? Where it's much more rare and I feel at peace with it, right? Bad things happen, but I feel at peace with them and I can honestly accept them and have a positive outlook on life, right? And it shows, and it's something that's changed me dramatically. So, will this book necessarily change you dramatically and wake you up? Maybe not, but it's worth considering these concepts. I mean, even just at an intellectual level, this stuff makes sense, right? It makes sense. I'm actually going to do a little bit of a book pairing here, since I think that it's kind of funny because they're related concepts. And I'm actually reading another book called Stumbling on Happiness. I'm not going to do the review on it yet. I got to finish the book. But if you're having trouble reading The Power of Now, for what I said just sounds like crazy woo-woo shit, maybe read Stumbling on Happiness first, okay? Because it's very, very scientific, at least, well, as much as psychology can be scientific, but it's very much more of that approach, right? Empirical data and analysis, whereas Power of Now is none of that. It's just one guy telling you what he thinks, just like you're listening to right now, right? Pretty much. So I'd maybe pair those two books together because you'd have this very, very scientific approach and they're saying essentially the same thing, okay? Because when you get down to the message of what causes happiness, and I think Eckhart Tolle would probably say joy instead of happiness, it comes down to not living in the future and not living in the past and accepting the present moment, and that we're really bad at living in the future and living in the past. So there's just a huge value in just getting that. And like I said, one concept, if you had to get from the book, would just simply be this: accept reality. This is what I say all the time on this channel, and I fucking mean it. Accept reality. All of your troubles and pains and sorrows are because you are not accepting what is. Doesn't mean you can't change stuff. It doesn't mean that you can't do something, but you first have to accept it. And I talked about changing yourself, how to grow. Maybe we could, I'm trying to think, probably the video on addiction. I've done some follow-ups on that, but I can't remember the names of them. But essentially, if you want to change yourself, you must first accept where you are now and see reality clearly, and then you can have that new vision of yourself and you can step into that. But you must first see things clearly and accept them. Okay, and that's one of the keys. So that's it. That's all I got for this book. I think it's great. I think it's worth definitely reading, listen to the audio version, whatever you want to do. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. Go check it out. All right, if you like this video, if you want to get more book reviews and philosophical advice, as well as maybe some software development advice from time to time, click that subscribe button below, and I'll talk to you next time.